coming to you live from New York, the capital city of part of state Nigeria. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu urges governors to invest more in poverty eradication and others. FEC approves 213.7 billion naira for electrification of universities' rural communities. Plus, Trump raises Canada tariff to 35% as US announces new levies for other countries. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Oops.
Are you?
Wait now.
Mama.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. First in the news this afternoon is that President Bola Tinubu has called on state governors to prioritize the welfare of Nigerians by investing more in rural electrification, agricultural mechanization, poverty eradication and infrastructure. Tinubu's call followed a presentation on the renewed Herb Ward Development Program by the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, at the 150th meeting of the National Economic Council (NEC) held at the State House Council Chambers, Abuja. President Tinubu urged state governors to collaborate with federal government to drive economic development in rural areas across the country. Accordingly, he directed NEC to set up a committee to enhance the actualization of legacy projects, especially the Lagos-Calabar and Sokoto-Badagry superhighways. He also ordered the transfer of the office of the Surveyor General, of the Federation to the Presidency to enhance the seamless actualization of his administration's legacy projects across the country. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has appointed Omotunoye Mejokundomi as the new Director General of the National Council of Climate Change (NCCC). Mejokundomi succeeds Nkiruka Maduike, the pioneer head of the agency, appointed by the President in June 2024. Her appointment was contained in a statement issued by presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga. Onanuga said President Tinubu thanked Maduike for her dedicated service and strong foundation for the Council's continued growth. At the Federal Executive Council, FEC has approved two major electrification projects worth a combined 213.7 billion naira to improve energy access in universities, teaching hospitals and rural communities across Nigeria. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, announced the approvals while briefing journalists at the State House, Abuja, after the 7th FEC meeting presided over by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Adelabu said the first project, valued at 145 billion naira, inclusive of 7.5% VAT, is for the engineering, procurement and construction (EPC) of power systems under the Energizing Education Program (EPP) implemented by the Rural Electrification Agency (REA). The minister noted that many institutions have faced severe electricity challenges, leading to blackouts and industrial actions as they struggle to meet exorbitant utility bills from distribution companies. He listed the 8 benefiting institutions from this phase of the program to include the University of Lagos, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, University of Ibadan, University College Hospital, Ibadan, Federal University, Titse, in Jigawa State, and Federal University, Wukari, in Taraba State. In the meantime, the federal government has approved the promotion of 51 Corps Commanders and 49 Deputy Corps Commanders in the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRC. FRC spokesman Assistant Corps Marshal Olusegun Ogungbede announced this in a statement. He said the approval was granted by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, who serves as the supervising authority of the FRC. According to him, the approval entails the elevation of 51 Deputy Corps Commanders to the rank of Corps Commander, 49 Assistant Corps Commanders to the rank of Deputy Corps Commanders. The FRC spokesman said the SGF expressed satisfaction with the transparency and merit-based approach of the exercise and commended the Corps leadership for maintaining objectivity and professionalism. In a separate development, the National Economic Council (NEC) has called for the strengthening of state emergency management agencies (SEMAs) across the 36 states of the Federation and urged the Federal Ministry of Finance to release emergency funds to address impending flood effects. This was contained in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President and Media and Communications Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nwakocha. The Council's resolution came following a presentation by the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Zubida Umar, on the country's 2025 flood preparedness and response initiatives during the Council's meeting. NEMA's presentation detailed the agency's progress since 2024, including the production of the National Disaster Risk Reduction Strategy and Action Plan 2024-2027 with United Nations support and ongoing validation of the Nigeria Hazard Risk Countrywide Analysis for 2024. The agency has also improved civil military coordination on disaster risk reduction and relief operations through partnerships with military disaster response units, the Nigeria Police Force, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and Nigeria Red Cross. According to the statement, key preparedness actions undertaken in 2025 include expert review and analysis of meteorological forecast, with NEMA communicating flood predictions to state governments between May and June. In another development, governors across Nigeria have voiced grave concerns over the worsening state of education in the country, warning that without urgent interventions, the sector may face further deterioration. Chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum and Governor of Kwara State, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, delivered the warning during a state-level workshop on foundational learning and out-of-school children held in Abuja. Governor Abdulrazak, who was represented by the NGF's education advisor, Leo the Great, said Nigeria is at a crossroad in its education journey with a pressing need to confront the foundational issues head-on. He cited nationwide statistics that points to an alarming 66% out-of-school rate among primary school-aged children, attributing the trend to poor learning outcomes, high dropout rate, and weak transition and completion levels. According to Abdulrazak, the education workforce remains both insufficient and undervalued, a situation compounded by chronic underfunding of the basic education sector and national governance frameworks. Now to Africa, where Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has met with Tunisian President Kais Saied in Tunis to discuss Italy's ambitious Maritime Plan for Africa and ways to strengthen cooperation between the two nations. For talks held at the Tunisian Presidential Palace centered on economic development, energy diversification, and curbing irregular migration. Named after Enrico Mattei, the Maritime Plan is Rome's flagship strategy to foster sustainable development in Africa. The initiative aims to reduce migration pressures by creating jobs, improving infrastructure, and stabilizing what Meloni describes as a non-predatory partnership between Europe and Africa. Reports say key sectors targeted under the plan include education, healthcare, water and sanitation, agriculture, and energy infrastructure. On the foreign scene, Donald Trump has raised Canada's tariff rates from 25% to 35% hours before a deadline to strike trade deals. The White House released new levies for dozens of other countries, which will come into effect 7th August. The White House, in a statement, notes that goods captured by the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement are exempt from the 35% rate. According to the White House, Canada's new higher tariff comes as a result of its inaction in the illicit drug crisis and its retaliation against the United States for its actions to address the threat. Still on the foreign scene, United States President Donald Trump has paused putting higher tariffs on Mexico for another 90 days as other countries try to secure a deal. Because that Trump announced his tariff plan in April, sending chaos that is rippling through the world economy. However, he paused so that countries could negotiate new trade deals. According to reports, many nations are yet to have a deal with the U.S., but will face steep tariff rates from today, for as high as 50% for Brazil, the UK, and the EU, which are among those who have made deals with the U.S. The tariffs mean companies that bring foreign goods into the U.S. will have to pay the taxes to the government. Meanwhile, experts say these companies may pass costs onto consumers. Still to come in the news. The Tigers move closer to record 5th consecutive title with win over Cameroon. Stay tuned for details of this and more in a moment.
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. We are Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Rescan your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further inquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Thanks for staying tuned. And now to the rest of the news stories. On our business news, the federal government has restated its commitment to driving local manufacturing, economic expansion and job creation. According to a statement, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, affirmed the government's support during a visit to the Sanglev Incorporated Electric Vehicle Assembly Plant in Lagos. Oduwole said that President Bola Tinubu-led administration remained focused on fostering investment and industrial growth through policies that prioritize Nigerian businesses. The Trade Minister described Saglev's plant as a symbol of sustainable innovation, noting that the vehicles assembled there could significantly enhance Nigeria's transportation and logistics sectors. Oduwole also dismissed the notion that Nigerians do not patronize locally made goods, stating that Nigerians are extremely patriotic and embrace Nigerian products. Still in business, the Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria, NOGASA, has warned that the Dangote Petroleum Refinery's plan to bypass existing distribution channels and supply refined petroleum products directly to end users would lead to a nationwide disruption, long-term product scarcity, and the collapse of existing supply networks. The oil and gas suppliers called on the refinery to halt its plan and seek further dialogue before commencing the distribution of products to end users, urging it to learn from what happened to non-functional refineries under the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. They also called on President Bola Tinubu to intervene in the issue, stressing that Dangote alone cannot handle nationwide distribution of products sustainably. The Nogasa National President Bennett Correa made the call during the association's annual general meeting held in Abuja. On to health matters, doctors under the employ of the Lagos State government have ended their 3-day warning strike. The Medical Guild has said a fresh round of engagements with government officials will resume next week. The Guild's chairman, Dr. Jaffers Olugombi, disclosed this in an interview, noting that the decision followed promising dialogue with senior government officials and partial fulfillment of the union's demands. He said the Guild, which represents all doctors working in the state's public hospital, deductions and non-payment of arrears. Olubogi explained that the overwhelming pressure on doctors and the sensitive nature of their work made the strike unavoidable when the government slashed their salaries without proper consultation. Still in health, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives Federal Medical Center, or chapter, has declared that it will not attend to any patient during its ongoing 7-day warning strike, regardless of the severity of cases. Secretary of the association, Koka Oluwaseun, made this known in an interview, accusing the federal government of neglecting the welfare of nurses. Oluwasegun lamented poor remuneration and working conditions, noting that the uniform allowance has remained 20,000 naira per year for over 2 decades. He cited a string of unfulfilled promises by the federal government and reiterated that the warning strike would last 7 days. Now to sports news. The 6-time champions Nigeria's the Tigers have advanced to the semi-finals of the 2025 Women's AfroBasket Tournament by defeating Cameroon 83-47 and keeping their title defense campaign alive in Côte d'Ivoire FIBA. The victory extends their unbeaten run in Africa to 27, dating back to 2015, while moving them closer to a record 5th title in a row. Following the dominant win against Cameroon, the Tigers will now face Senegal in the semi-finals Saturday, August 2nd. Still in sports, Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen has completed his permanent switch to inked a 4-year deal with the Turkish champions and will be paid 15 million euros per season. Osimhen will also get an extra 1 million euros loyalty bonus and another €5 million for image rights. The latest contract also restricts him from joining Serie A clubs in the next 2 years. In entertainment, celebrated children's author Alan Alberg has died at the age of 87. According to his publisher Penguin Random House, fellow children's author Michael Rosen on X described Alberg as a pioneer of great children's literature. Alberg, who wrote 150 books over a career which spanned more than 5 decades, is survived by his wife Vanessa, daughter Jessica, and stepdaughters Saskia and Johanna. And that's all we have in the news at this hour. Do also follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTVLive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Uyai Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.